This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Monday Sidekick, the AI agent that knows you and your business, thinks ahead and takes action. Ask it anything. Seriously. Monday Sidekick, AI you'll love to use. Start a free trial today on monday.com.
The minute I heard that thud of the garage door, I knew I'm in trouble. Then I saw these 3 beautiful lights, and then I heard Susie stop screaming. I did not look back and see my body. The next thing I knew, I was at the bottom of a stairwell. So when I passed away, I was in the room of knowledge. He wants you to know that your friendship with him meant everything to him. By the way, if you feel your hair being pulled or moved, that would be your dad.
Oh, really? Because sometimes I feel that.
People want control of this aspect of life. Guess what, people? You will never, ever, ever have control of this part.
When I get a message, the greatest gift I'm given is that you don't have to know them well enough for them to want to come through. They have the opportunity and they're going to take it. And it's even better when you don't know them well enough, because how could I know you know them?
Any message for me?
From your dad?
Oldish. The art of knowing more and caring less. With your host, Randy Spelling, Brian Austin Green, and Sharna Burgess.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Oldish. I cannot begin to describe to you what you are about to hear. Let me start with this. We have had an incredible medium come in today and had conversations. And when I tell you the people that came through, you are going to hear Luke come through for Brian. You are going to hear multiple family members for Randy. You are going to hear my dad come through, this incredible human who is not just a medium, but is a soul healer, an intuitive, a speaker, and a best-selling author. Her name is Susan Grau, and her path towards this started when she was just 4 years old with a near-death experience. And there began her understanding of the spirit world, the afterlife, and all of those questions that we have of what happens to us, where are our loved ones. She knows, and she not only gives us this gift of a session today with us connecting with our loved ones, I can barely say this without crying, she also shares her book that she has written, Infinite Life and Infinite Lessons, that is available to everyone, where she answers those questions. Where do we go? What's in the afterlife? Where are our loved ones? How can we communicate with them? And she gives you actual tools in this book for you to be able to do that yourself. This is a podcast for everybody, whether you have experienced loss, whether you are simply curious about it, or whether you already know and you want to know more. Susan is the woman to listen to. I cannot wait for you to hear this podcast and go on this journey with us. Everybody, enjoy.
Susan Grau, welcome to Oldish.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We are excited to have you here. We were talking before. We had so many questions trying to solve the age-old questions of what exists beyond this realm.
How it works,
why people choose to have the blueprint that they have in life. We were talking even about infants who pass away early, people who suicide. I know you had a few suicides in your family. Your 2 brothers.
And my mother.
And your mother.
And my best friend, and when I was a child, and then another person that was in my life.
Wow. So why do you think that you came into this role that you're in, experiencing all of that around you?
Well, I think every experience is to teach us something that we're meant to use later. And our darkest past is our greatest asset, right? It teaches us what we need to know and how to grow and become more. And did I choose necessarily suicide? No, but my theory or my contracts are about loss and growth. So how I lose them, I've lost people in all different ways, was part of my growth process to be able to help others heal And that was what I was. I was a healer since I was a little girl. I used to sit around and heal all the animals. It was always in me. I became a grief and addiction therapist, very, very much about healing. And that was part of the process for me. But a contract, just to talk about the blueprint, the contract. So when I passed away, I was in the room of knowledge. And
So say that, because you can't just throw out when I passed away, sitting here.
As you're sitting here in front of us with an oldish microphone.
You have to unpack that a little bit.
Okay,
please,
let me unpack
before
that.
the room of knowledge.
Okay, so don't let me forget to tell you the question you asked, because I will. Once I get in that space, I'll forget what I say. So I was a little girl. I was almost 5 years old, and I was playing fort with some boys, and they said if I wanted to continue to play, I had to crawl up in the freezer in the garage and get popsicles. Well, at that age, you don't really click into the fact that it's not plugged in, and we weren't allowed to be in there. I couldn't open the garage door, but they could. So the boys opened the garage door, and I went inside, and we had all this land around us, and so I went inside, and they closed the garage door, and I was facing inwards. There were no popsicles, and I was literally calling out flavors. And I'm reaching up, and I'm looking, and I'm not seeing them, and it dawned on me, I don't think this is got any popsicles in it. And they closed the freezer door. They closed the garage door, and they ran home. And when they first closed that freezer door, my first thought was, I'm in on a game here. Surely they're not going to leave me in here is kind of what. But the minute I heard that thud of the garage door, I knew I'm in trouble. And I innately knew I was leaving. There was no doubt in my mind. I was in there for, they say, between 20 minutes and 2 hours. Children die within 10 minutes. If you hear about children that get locked in freezers
And is that
have
because
no oxygen.
It's because there's no oxygen in it, and you
Yes.
couldn't push your way out of it from the inside?
That in my day, you're talking back in the early 60s, to be honest. Don't tell my age,
Yeah,
but
hey.
I don't mind. I'm proud of it. I'm 66. So in my day, you didn't, you weren't able to get out of them. And so they were actually starting to change that a little bit later, because so many children were dying from that experience and not coming back. And my mother was supposed to turn it towards the wall and bolt it, and she didn't. And there was a boat in there, so us kids would sneak in there and play in the boat. My mom was kind of a homebody. She stayed home. My mother had this gift, and they had locked her up for it. And so she was on medication, so she wasn't coming out of the house at that point, not very often. And so anyway, I was screaming hysterically. I just wanted out of this space. And I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew I was terrified. And my mother said she was in the back of the house, which was very far. Quite honestly, we had land between the garage and the house. They weren't connected. And she said she heard screaming. She said she thought it was a cat in heat, because that's what the sound of terror sounds like, that high pitched sound. And she did not respond. That's what she thought it was. So I stayed in this space for a very long time. And then I saw these three, I call them my angels, three beautiful lights. And they said, Susie, stop screaming. And I didn't. I was still terrified, and I kept screaming. And then I heard pretty, like a mother would say, stop, Susie, stop screaming. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they were doing that to keep oxygen in me or what the reason was. And they said, we're going to get your mommy. And I kind of felt like a but first feeling, but first we're going to do this. But I didn't hear those words. Mm-hmm. I did not look back and see my body. The next thing I knew, I was at the bottom of a stairwell. And I thought to myself, how am I going to get up those stairs? Because I knew there was something in it I needed to see. And all of a sudden, I was on the edge of a well. Now, I just want to fast forward for a second, because I didn't understand what the well was. And I always said, I studied under Raymond Moody. That's where I got my Doctorate of Divinity. And I said to him, why didn't I see a tunnel? And he said, did you ever stop to think that the well was your tunnel? bingo. It was like this light bulb went off in me that I had never had my whole life because I couldn't figure out why wasn't I seeing the tunnel.
And because in near-death experiences, it's typical that people see some sort of tunnel.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
So you were at...
I was at the bottom of the stairs and I ended up at this well and I was looking inside this well and I could see it was like, looking back now, and I'm going to speak in adult terms because a child, I can't give you the child's view. I can only give you what as I processed as an adult and what they downloaded later on in me also. But it looked like DNA moving and it was words. And I was hearing things like, I'm turning 16, God, my dad won't give me a car. Please, God, please make him give me a car. Or my mother has cancer. God, please don't let her die. And I didn't really relate to these things because I was only 5 or almost 5, but I was hearing them and it was prayers. And I looked over at these 3 lights that were standing to the left of me and I said, where am I? Now keep in mind, I'm at the edge of a well and I'm not afraid. I'm literally, it's infinite, dark, and I'm not afraid of falling in. No fear. I think that's a really important thing. And I said, where am I? And they said, you're in the room of heart's desires. And I said, do you answer all those? Because I'm little and I'm thinking, I'm going to start wishing for things and I'm going to get them. And we take us with us. So I still had my little self with me. And they said, no, Susie, sometimes what people desire the most isn't good for them. And I didn't like that. I thought, that's what my mom says to me. Just because you want it doesn't mean it's good for you. I didn't like it. And then they kind of soothed that over. And I saw this path, and it was like I called it the Yellow Brick Road because I had seen The Wizard of Oz, but it was golden pavers, and it was moving and beautiful. But what I saw on the beginning of the path were these pyramids. That's why I know, the pyramids have so much meaning because everything had pyramids there. Everything I saw had some form of a pyramid shape. And I was watching humans. So this is metaphorical. I was watching humans come and start pulling from the bottom of these pavers and start paving their path. And innately, somehow, they put in me that they were unbalancing their life journey, and that pyramid was their life journey. And they were dropping to their knees and they were saying to these angelic, beautiful beings, for the love of God, please help me. Nothing's working, nothing's going my way, nothing's happening right. And I watched these beings come in, I call them angels, and remove the pavers, put them back to the bottom, and then they would go to the top of these pyramids and they would pull these pavers off and they started paving the path. And I asked, what are you doing? Because I had no idea where they just went and what just happened. And they said, we are the pavers, you are not. All you have to do is walk it. And I said, how do you know if you're walking it right? Now, mind you, they're putting these thoughts in my head. People ask me, how do you remember this? And I ask you, did you watch The Wizard of Oz when you were a child? And you say yes. And I said, do you remember the Tin Man? Do you remember that they had to oil him? Do you remember the cowardly lion? Well, yeah. Do you remember the Yellow Brick Road? Do you remember Dorothy's slippers? Yeah. Well, you were young. How do you remember? Had an impact, profound impact on me. And so, and I compare it to that because it looked like the Yellow Brick Road to me. Anyway, so then the next thing I knew, I was in this little edge of this kind of pathway. And I said, how do you know if you're walking it right? They gave me the answer, and then they said, please remember this on your journey, Susie. What you try to control controls you, and what you run from chases you. I've never forgot it. I didn't listen.
What you try to control controls you, and what you run from
chases you.
Chases you.
So you have to face everything in your life journey. If you try to control it, it stays here. And you just keep trying to control it.
Oh, it's so true.
Yeah. And what you run from always comes in front of you again. So if you leave a relationship, you'll end up finding that something somewhere, maybe not a love relationship, but maybe a work relationship, that kind of person comes in front of you again. You can never run from anything. You are here to learn and expand your clarity and grow. Your soul is perfect. and infinite, and anything infinite continues growth. Pretty simple if you think about that.
It's pretty simple, and also
Super
sometimes
complex.
Well,
and super difficult to live. Right?
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, that's not easy at all.
Yeah.
it's not easy. And there's a contrast because you hear things like people saying, "Oh, it's crushing my soul," and this is soul sucking. And really, you're saying the soul is
Never gets
perfect. The soul
damaged.
can't be crushed.
No.
Right?
No, but the heart has 40,000 neurites. The heart has neurons, neurites. The heart has memory capacity, learning capacity, and travels with us.
The organ
on all,
itself.
Yes, on all our journeys.
Okay.
So the brain gets a bunch of junk. From the moment you're born, the brain remembers everything. Every moment, every flash, every picture. Those things aren't needed on the other side. But your heart contains only so much. It's called a mini brain. Your heart actually talks to your brain neurologically more than your brain talks to your heart. That's a proven fact.
And they're finding this in science.
Mm-hmm. It's always been there. They're just finding it now.
Right.
It's always been there. So you're not going to take all this junk with you, right? But so it's learning to adjust to your life in a way that says, I need to let go and allow whatever's coming in front of me so that I can learn the full experience. Because we are here for the experience. That's what we're here to do, is experience. And in that experience, the soul remains pure. Does it feel the pain? Yes. Does it get damaged by the pain? Absolutely not. And people ask me, again, the one thing I always hear is, well, if the soul's perfect, why do you need to learn anything? And I said, because it's infinite, and anything infinite needs more and more and more and more knowledge. So that's why our soul is still growing. So if I were to tell you everything about the ocean and you had never seen it, I could tell you all about the salt air and all about the touch and the rolling of the waves and the intensity of what happens when you get stuck in a wave and you get slammed in the ground and the feel of the sand. You would know that information, but would you know it truly till you were there?
I love that you just said this because I think everyone can relate to that experience of seeing something, reading about something, but not experiencing it. And the same thing with self-help or spiritual concepts, gratitude, forgiveness, loving the self. You can hear it, you can read about it, you can hear people, jumping up and down on stage saying it, but it's only when that moment when you're washing the dishes, it seems to come at these mundane times where you have the experience of it. Something clicks, you feel present, you feel connected, you actually do forgive, or you feel such gratitude that your heart opens up that you go, I want to freeze frame that because it's the experience of it. And then, people tell other people and they're like, what? You were washing dishes, but it was profound because you had the experience of it.
Yeah, exactly. Everything you experience becomes profound if you allow it to be. Every small thing, every large thing, every choice you make can be profound. It's just a matter of how far you take it. The smallest of things, people always say to me when they come, because I'm a grief and addiction specialist, and people say to me, I cannot do this. I've never grieved before. I don't understand it. I don't know how to do this. And I tell them, you've grieved from the moment you were born. When coming out of the womb, you grieve. I'll give you an example that's small. I lose my favorite pencil. I'm going to go through all the stages of grief, which, by the way, are not always exactly what we have to go through, as they say out there in grief, but let's just go through them. I know I have it somewhere. There's my denial. It has to be. I'm going to find it. There goes my bargaining. I am so angry. I can't find this pencil. I love it. My husband gave it to me. It's my favorite pencil. When we go back to the anger and the bargaining, we're going back and forth. I'm going to keep looking for it. And then finally we get to a place of surrender or acceptance where we go, okay, I'm not going to find this pencil. I need to do something different. And so from the moment we're born, these things are happening to us. So by the time we get to a huge loss, like someone passing away, yes, it's a very different kind of grief, but we innately know how to process that grief. It's just a matter of someone walking us through the grief we already understand. So I know that kind of tracked from your question, but the soul is part of that. The soul has that knowledge. The heart carries the knowledge of grief for us in all of our experiences. And that's very empowering to know, because then we're not alone in it. You know, there's nothing that we're alone in or that we can't handle, that we can't process. So as I'm there, speaking of grief, you know, they're telling me about, you know, and I'm looking over here because it helps me concentrate on exactly what I want to tell you. Because I'll go off to the side to give you more information and not know where to come back to. It's just what my brain does. I'm always half here and half there. And then I have visitors coming in, by the way, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But as you go through the process of grief and understand that what you run from chases you, creates more grief for you, you want to step into it. You want to face these things that you want to run from, because when you step into it, now you're processing it. And the soul is already prepared to process it. So it stops controlling your thinking and starts actually giving you a process to move through it.
Doesn't it seem like that's where so much pain comes from, is just the thinking and the overthinking and not being able to get out of the thinking?
For sure. That's the thing that keeps your mind racing at night when you're in bed and you can't fall asleep. Yeah, when you're driving and you're frustrated about everything that happens around you, because it's just like poking at this feeling you already have.
Yeah, like trying to figure it all out, or trying to figure the future out, or even sometimes the why of things. I think the why can help healing. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, but sometimes just trying to figure out the why,
That's that
it's
weird.
a chase.
That's that weird control thing, though. That we have. Like you know, people want control of this aspect of life. That, like, guess what, people? You will never, ever, ever have control of this part. You have control over who you are during all of it, but you have no. I can walk. I can go across the street and get hit by a truck right now. Look both ways. Do all the things that you're supposed to do. It doesn't, that's out of my control. The person I choose to be when I walk out of here, when I see everybody, when I cross the street, when I get in my car, those are the things that I can control. I think, though, you drive yourself crazy trying to control the rest of it, because you never get a handle on any of it.
Yeah. And back to the why.
Yeah.
Why never healed me. The how and the what is what healed me. How do I do something different? How do I handle this? And what is it that I do to change this?
That's why I love your book, which we're going to get to, Infinite Life, Infinite Lessons, because you have so much of that in the book.
I do want, because I want to get to the room of knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So I want to go back to, you were taking us through this story. You were almost 5 years old. You had seen this well with the DNA. And then you were standing at the bottom of a staircase and you were thinking, how do I get up there? And was this the entryway to the room of knowledge that you were talking about?
No, that was the room of heart's desires.
Room of heart's desires.
Now, keep in mind, I say rooms, they were dimensions. I don't know how to describe them any other way. That's my words, room. They were talking about dimensions, the different dimensions there. So, yes, at the end of this road, I ended up going into a different dimension, which, again, I call room. And I asked them, you know, what's going on? And I'm seeing this little girl with a family. And somebody asked me, "What do you think it was you?" And that was like an aha moment. That was recent in a podcast. Like, do you think that was you? It might have been. But anyway, this little girl was talking to these entities, and she was saying, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and my soul's going to grow really big, and I'm going to expand. And there were a couple, you know, it was like family members. They were all kind of speaking, and they were discouraging it. They were saying, that's a lot to take on. It might be too much for you, you know, do something, you know, you might want to reconsider. And she's like, no, I know I can do it. I know I can. And they were having this whole conversation. And then they said, well, you do have free will. And they were gone. They were gone. And I watched, it was like, if you've ever watched Harry Potter blew my mind because I watched this movement of these tablets but these were books, but I saw them coming in front of them kind of the same way. So I went, wow, who had a near-death experience that wrote Harry Potter? That's what went through my head, which she didn't, but that's what went through my head. So I said, where did they go? And they said they went to their next incarnation. Had no idea what they were talking about. I just remember him saying it. Later on in life, someone said to me, do you understand reincarnation? Like, do you believe in it? And I went, oh my God. I just almost fell off down. That's that word. And I knew what it meant. They didn't have to tell me. But I had never heard the word on this planet. I only knew what I heard there. So that's the downloads you get after you have an NDE.
After you have a what?
A near-death experience. So
you abbreviated it just to just to get through this stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, in this room, this is how they explained it to me. Because I asked where am I? They said you're in the dimension or the room of knowledge. And this is where you make your contracts. And I said, well, what's that? And they said, well, you make a contract. Let's just say, Susie, that your soul wants to resonate in the understanding of marriage. You will be married. You might be 89, but you'll be married. Who you marry, how long you're married, the kind of marriage you have. If you choose to stay married, what you do in your marriage is all free will for your soul to grow and expand. Usually, there'll be doors in front of you. You'll open one door and you'll walk in and you'll go, oh, I'm with a narcissist right now. There's 3 more doors over here. What do I choose? You may choose to stay. You may choose to be in that relationship, to learn something, to grow, or you may run and go into a different door. Those are your free will choices. You may stay for a while and then walk away and find the love of your life in the next door. Those are your choices. But you will be married, one way or the other, because that was your contract. So we develop these contracts because our soul wants to resonate in the understanding of a particular thing. How that unfolds is what happens here. Now, I know everyone says that everything is a planned event. That makes no sense, that everything would be a planned event, because if it was, you might as well stay in the afterlife because you'd be robotic and everything would be known. It would all be known, including your soul, because your soul is the vine to the divine. So there's a complete connection. Your soul already knows, right? And if it knows everything you're going to do, there's no reason to be here. It already knows.
Right.
So the goal is to be in the challenge. We want the challenge of understanding what our choices will be. Who are we? What will our choice be? And that helps our soul grow, because it's always infinitely growing, and that we take to our higher self that's on the other side waiting to hear more.
Wow.
It's
You know that feeling when you put on something so comfortable that it kind of resets you?
Oh, yes, 100%. Like your whole nervous system just goes, ah.
Literally, that's me every time I put on my Bombas socks. It's wild how something that small can change your mood.
Isn't that interesting? It's like the little things that help you slow down. And their t-shirts are awesome.
Yes. And you know what? They do not feel like throwaway clothes, right? No. They feel like made to last clothes. And I love that they think about design on that kind of a level.
The slippers, let's not skip those, okay? I basically turned mine into house shoes. I'll take the trash out, I'll walk the dog, I'll come back inside, and I'm still wearing it.
Yeah, you actually live in it.
I absolutely live in those things. They kind of nailed that cozy but durable thing.
Yeah, and you know what I really love about Bombas is that for every item you buy, they donate one to someone that's experiencing homelessness. It's amazing.
It gets me every time. Like, you're buying something small for yourself, but it actually matters to someone else.
Exactly. It's comfort with purpose. That's what makes it stick for me. It's not just socks. It's a reminder to care about the simple things.
Yeah, so if you haven't tried them yet, head to bombas.com/audio and use code audio for 20% off your first purchase.
That's BOMBAS.com/audio, code audio.
You'll see what we mean once you put them on. It's a whole vibe.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana.
so interesting to digest it, right? Because you think of all these different, and this is what we were talking about before you got here today. You think of all these different contracts that we take, and some of them are pretty devastating. We've had guests on this podcast that have talked about lifetimes of trauma. And yes, they've turned it into something incredibly beautiful at the end of it. But you think, wow, you chose that. And then it's like talk about people that have played villains in the history of the world. Wow, you chose that. And it's wild to think on the earth side of it all, because we get this human experience of it, that how could you ever possibly choose? But what if, and Brian said this, he's like, there's people that say, what if God was up there and was like, good job to someone that played a villain, because that was the experience they were meant to have.
They were supposed to be the catalyst
for something for change.
One of the best jobs.
And it's wow to hear you say that. That's wild.
Same for the experiences. I mean, in my book, it talks about some of my experiences, but just to reiterate, I've got 2 brothers and a mother that died by suicide, 2 other friends that died by suicide that were very close to me. I was infertile. I was trafficked as a child.
Oh my gosh.
In my neighborhood. I had 4 bad adoptions that were extremely painful. I could go down. It could just keep going.
A lifetime of trauma.
Yes.
Do you feel like
the PhD in hardship, I call it.
Do you feel like your soul chose that, though, in knowing that's what it was going to take to bring you to the point you're at now? That it was going to take that amount of trauma and it was going to take those things so here's the question that we were talking about. If you have a soul contract and a soul chooses the life to come down into, do you then choose, do you look at it as a challenge and you go, as you were saying, you look at it and you go, I'll take that one. Like I'm good with that. Like it's gonna be really hard, but it's gonna be fucking amazing at the end. So, I'll take the loss and the things that happen and the things in life.
Yeah. That's what the little girl was saying in that room.
Right.
I can do it. I know I can do it. My soul's going to grow. It's going to expand so big. My soul's going to grow. That's what that little girl was doing.
Okay.
And so, yes, some of us choose the PhD in hardship. And I was one of them. You may have been one of them, any of us could be one of them. We all have hardship. Without it, we don't grow. Pain is our greatest motivator to change. Mm-hmm. Without pain, we don't change because we're warm and cozy. Mm-hmm. So addictions, any of those things, I find that people that have addictions are the most empathically beautiful energies I've ever met. I adore them. And because they care. There's all this information going into them and they feel everything and they want to avoid that feeling. And unfortunately, anything you take in excess is going to become addictive. It just is. That includes food, includes anything. So in having said that, empathic energy matters. So you might have someone that comes in that has no empathic energy that says, I'm not going to go through anything, but I'm going to put you through hell. Mm-hmm. Right? There's the villain. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to go through anything. I went through enough last time. So now I'm going to be the one that puts you through it. And so that does exist. What they do with that is free will. They could get healed. They could be, I've seen people who are the most narcissistic people in the world that actually, you never learn how not to be a narcissist. You'll always have that as a first thought. But they have gone to enough therapy that they think of something else to do instead of the behavior they're used to doing. So they actually can heal in that way and not create trauma for other people, other humans. So healing is possible, but will they choose it? Right. And that's what the spirit world's waiting for. Will they choose it? They'll give them every opportunity.
Interesting.
So, that is the beauty of connecting in and understanding who they are. But back to the room of knowledge. Yeah. So powerful, so amazing. So when you make that script, you also know you have free will. When you then come back to this beautiful learning, grounding earth, you then make different choices, right? So that you don't have to live in the PhD of hardship. You can do it differently. you will have an experience that can pull you out of it. You will have a choice at some point. What choice do you take? My soul wanted to resonate in that understanding of hardship, so therefore my soul continued on that path for sure. And still to this day continues on it. You know, it's constant. And I'm good with that, because everything that I go through, I am more because of it, not in spite of it. In spite of such a negative connotation, I am more because of the experiences I've had. I'm more honest. I'm a better human being. I'm a better soul. Not that a soul can get better, but can grow. I'm a more grown soul. I understand who I am. I'm empowered by all these experiences. So everything I've ever been through has made me more. And so I would never, if you were to put your problems in the center of this rug, and your problems in this, and I put mine in there, I can guarantee you I'd take mine back and you'd take yours back, because it's your journey. And you understand it. You know, where you might go, oh my God, she went through all those suicides. I'm going, oh my God, he went through. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's mine. And I learned through my soul power to move through that and work through that. So therefore it's not frightening to me, where it might scare the heck out of you. I mean, it'd scare the shit out of you to think that you'd have 5 people you love die by suicide.
That's what I was asking, though, is then that is the soul contract that you chose before you came down, of knowing this is what it's going to take for me to be this great person that comes out at the end of all of it.
I don't think we contract suicide. Suicide is absolutely a free will decision, but we do contract death and loss.
Is it? Right? Okay.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
That was one of our questions when it comes to suicide. Is that part of what that soul, as we're talking about,
I've never believed that.
Is that someone getting to the end, get in that soul contract and going, nope, too hard.
Yep.
I gotta get
I thought
out.
I could do this.
This is too much.
I said I could handle it to them, but I couldn't. And they were aware I probably couldn't, because they were trying to stop me from doing all these choices. But, you know, if I was I was doing readings with someone, and I don't want to name them because they are famous. And we were in a room, and we were reading this group of parents who had lost their children to suicide.
Oh my gosh.
And this person wrote a book about how this was their contract, and that they planned this with their child before they came, and that they knew their child was going to leave. I watched these parents, the pain that came over them, the trauma, the horror and they were standing up and going, I would never, ever, my soul tells me I would never choose to lose my child through them shooting themselves or them hanging themselves, or, you know, I would never. Yeah. My soul doesn't resonate in that. And they were falling apart. And so when I got up, I said, listen, I have a completely different view. Now, I have to tell you, I have a view from the top down, not from here up, because I've been there. And what I was told was this was not the contract, but loss was. How that happens, it will come in front of you. No matter what, it will come in front of you. But those suicides were a free will choice. You did not plan that with that person. Their whole bodies relaxed. And they said, now that feels right to my soul. And it is right. Your soul will tell you truth. It will tell you truth. All you have to do is tap into it.
It really seems like with subject matter like this, one has to feel any of the information that we're discussing, that we're speaking of. You have to feel it, and it has to resonate. And if it doesn't, you can discard it, just like you're hearing all other information. But there's a difference between logic and subscribing to someone's experience. And maybe that person that wrote the book believed that or had that experience, and that for whatever reason was right for them in that moment, but it clearly seems like that was not right for the other people sitting in the room.
Right.
And you gave more of a bird's eye view, which is why you do healing work. I mean, at the heart of everything you do, you are a therapist and hypnotherapist and grief counselor. I mean, you do all of these things, yet you're a healer, and you're there for someone to go back within themselves and find themselves.
What's right.
Yeah.
And you know, this is the thing that's interesting. So when someone dies by suicide, and just to tap back into that for a moment, maybe their free will choice was to become addicted. Maybe their free will choice was to struggle with depression. Maybe, or their contract. Let's switch it. Mm-hmm. Maybe their contract said, I'm going to deal with addiction. And what I do with that will be my free will decision. Mm-hmm. Or I'm going to have depression. That's a contract for me. How I end my life or not is going to be a free will decision. I see it more that way. So yes, I could have a contract with you that, hey, I'm going to be your child and I'm going to have depression issues and addiction issues. And you're going to be the one that supports me, tries to help me not take the choices that take my life.
How do you know, though, that this person here then doesn't have a contract of you're going to have a child and people around you really close to you that go through things to really, it's like, how far does that rabbit hole go? Like how many, are these contracts put out to all coincide with each other? So it's like, okay, your contract is you're going to deal with grief. You're going to go through serious things in life. You're going to find yourself, find new ways of feeling better. Now your parents' contract is they're going to have a bunch of children. They're going to go through these types of things with their kid. Like how do the contracts all meld together? Yes. And so it's like a master plan.
Is it like a collective thing?
Yeah, yes, exactly.
But isn't everything collective consciousness?
Oh, good point.
Mm-hmm. Everything. Mm-hmm. Every thought you have, everything you put out into the universal energy. It's like you were talking about driving down the road and, you get ticked off at someone and, how you respond.
Yeah.
And when people flip me off, I think, ooh, you just put some really negative energy into your world.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. And now you've affected mine by your behavior.
Right.
Think twice, because that's the collective consciousness. We've collected that together. And if somebody saw you that was beside me driving, now it's their collective consciousness. Mm-hmm. So we have to pay attention to that. But everything is in the collective consciousness. Everything. Okay. So everything flows together. We are all one in separation. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah. No, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a personal question for you. We were talking about suicide and addiction. I went through addiction. I would never say that I was suicidal, but I had 1, 2, 3 forms of NDE, near-death experience. My heart stopped beating a couple times, not when I had an NDE, I don't think, but for all intents and purposes, I think that on some level, I was really headed to not be here anymore. However, I really, when I look back, and I think it's a different lifetime now, when I look back, I think I really can't believe that I'm here. And I know a lot of people say that, it sounds trite. I really genuinely think, holy shit, I don't know how I survived that. But there was this one night that I fell to my knees and I just said, I called my dad Pops. I was like, Pops, he had just passed. Who, God, anyone, my guides. I don't want to live this anymore. There was something in me where I felt I'm here for a bigger purpose than living this way. I don't know how to get there, so please help me because I don't want this anymore. Would you say that that is something that, because we're talking about free will. Was that a free will moment, or was I at some point maybe just supposed to come out of that and do something different?
Well, I think what it really is, if I were to go just a little different direction, is you're an extremely empathic energy and you actually heard your soul.
Yes.
That's why you're here. So is that free will? In some ways. But if you hadn't listened to your soul, you wouldn't be here.
So
your soul was screaming at you.
It was 100%. And I feel like
your soul will try to save you every single time. It is your greatest leader, your greatest teacher. It is the vine to the divine Think of a vine and the blood that pumps through a vine to keep it going and keep it strong. It is connected to the divine. It's the only thing in your human existence that is completely connected to the divine. And that soul is connected to the heart space. What happens to us as humans, we get in our head. And that screws us all up.
Mm.
Yes.
You were listening to your soul. That's what happened. You carry a really strong empathic energy. You are a gifted individual carrying a very strong empathic energy. I can feel it all over you.
Thank you.
You also have someone with you, but a couple, actually, people with you. So do you, and so do you. But it's such a strong, I know, gave me chills. See, I do that too. I go, wow, I can feel it. There's someone in this room that died by suicide that had depression and also was self-medicating or doing addiction. Very, very important person, very empathic energy, hit it very well. I see absolutely no let on. Married, I love his energy. I feel like he loved music, movement, a lot like you in that arena. Very, very kind, but came from hardship. And it was extremely tragic, the loss of him.
Wow.
And I'm still trying to get his name, so please don't tell me.
Yeah.
If you know who I'm talking about, you may not. But I feel that. I also feel someone that had something happen in their head. This is a male. They both are. This is a male. I would say he feels very attached to one particular person in this room more than others. I feel like he is an open book, is a kind person, stayed humble. I don't know what that means, why he's talking about staying humble. Very strong individual. I really like him. He liked music too, but he doesn't feel the same, like movement. The other person liked movement. There's a grandmother in the room. She's really powerful. I like her energy. She has something to do with the month of August or August. She is she is very old school, very old school. She believes in her, I think it's religion. She believes in her religion. It's very strong for her. I feel like she picked up her husband, which would tell me her husband died after her, because I feel like she picked up her husband. She went for her husband to pick him up and bring him over. So those are kind of the people I feel in the room right now. There is another one that died by suicide or overdose. I just haven't tapped into them completely yet. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, but my brain is like scanning. I'm like, who? I know too. This is what happens a lot. Is it's going to be 2 hours from now, and I'm going to go.
It will be.
Oh,
It will
wow!
be.
She was right on.
It will be 2 hours from now. July has meaning, and who just had a birthday? Okay, it's your grandmother.
I was wondering.
What does August have to do with her, please?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know when her birthday was.
I don't think it was a birthday. Something more important than that.
I'm not sure. So, I mean,
And do you share a name with her?
I do.
Thank you.
So that's on my mom's side.
Okay,
we share
so
the same
remember
middle name.
August, it will have some meaning. Ask your family.
I'm going to ask my mom.
It's going to have meaning. I don't know if remember sounds like. Okay,
Yeah.
So it could be sound like August. I don't know what sounds like August, but it could sound like that. But she tells me she shares a name with you, so I don't know if her name's Randy or what that's
My middle
about.
name is Jean.
Okay.
And her name was Jean.
Excellent.
Or her middle name was Jean.
What was her first
No.
name?
Her first name was Jean.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Because I thought she was sharing a first name with some
Yeah.
part of your name. I really like her energy. She feels really involved in the journey, but only for such amount of time. This is your mother's mother. She's telling me that. She's on my right side. That's how I know that. And she wants you to know she loves to help you. She could be a little hardcore, but I like her. I like her. Like she's going to tell you like it is. And do not disrespect her.
I never got a chance to meet her. It's so funny because a friend of mine last night just asked me about my mom's mom and did I ever meet her? And I said, no, she died about a year before I was born. And I think she was hardcore. Yeah.
Yeah. But she also, I also like her, because she has good morals, good values. She just isn't somebody I would want to piss off.
Oh, I have like chills in the back of my head like I ate wasabi. That's so weird. I never get that. It's weird.
Your grandfather's on the other side?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to tell you that they're together. So it's her husband that's on the other side. I don't know if they stayed together here, but it was her husband is on the other side. I do want to say that.
Okay.
I feel like he left after her. Does that make sense?
He did.
Okay, yeah, because I see her picking him. I want to be sure that's the grandfather. So yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, and who is D.A.? Dan?
Dan and David.
Who is David?
David is my dad's dad.
Okay, he's here. And then who is Dan?
Dan is my dad's brother.
Okay, so there's just connecting down for you.
They're all here for you, Randy.
Yeah, they are. I do want to tell you that a gentleman that came through for me that had something with his head, feels like he had a stroke. This is a friend of yours.
I know exactly.
This is not family. I did not see an umbilical cord.
Why didn't you say anything?
And he said, fuck, a lot happened to me. But he wants you to know that your friendship with him meant everything to him. Like he felt safe around you. He knew he could trust you and you are really important to him. He loves being in your energy. He loves being in your life. He says he grew up with you basically. That's what he's saying. I basically grew up with you. And he wants you to know that he is a part of your journey for the rest of your journey. He loves hawks. He brings you hawks. He wants you to remember that. You see them, don't you? Mm-hmm. And he wants you to know that that is like really important to him, that you remember that. And coins, he's showing me coins, something about coins. So I don't know if he collected coins or if he's putting coins in front of you, but definitely keep that if you don't relate to it, keep it because it will make sense to you later. Trust me, you'll walk into your room and there'll be a coin sitting on your toe of your shoe. I mean, it's bizarre what they do. Hold on one second. He's humble. I like him. He's humble.
Yeah.
He says, I didn't always have reason to be, but I was. He's a ladies' man. The ladies like him. The ladies love me. That's what he's saying.
Loved him.
Love
as they should have.
And I can see him just happy dancing into a room. He did like music also.
We used to sing together all the time.
Yeah, he liked it. That was fun for him.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I don't know why he keeps pointing me to your shoes. Something about his shoes.
Oh my God.
What is that about?
My shoes? I have no idea.
Did he have shoes like that, or did he like shoes a lot?
No, he
liked boots.
He wasn't a fashion guy.
Why is he? Well, maybe he's pointing out that you are, but he's pointing to your shoes, and I don't know. I don't know if he's trying to tell me something, but I would like to ask you if he lost an animal.
If I did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what's down there.
Okay.
Okay? Just want you to know that.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like a little itsy-bitsy animal. I just want to say that. It's a big one. But I just want you to know it's down there by you. And I don't read animals, but he just showed it to me.
Okay.
That's why he's down by your shoes.
Wow.
I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'm in it now. I'm in it, so we're going for it. Okay, guys? We're going for it. What does your dad have to do with pregnancy?
Oh boy!
Wait, let me see if I can get him to tell me. Don't tell me. I always ask that question when I see a reaction. I'm like, okay, there's more.
I know the exact.
So this is what I'm hearing. He knew your baby before you did, and he wants you to know that he spent a lot of time with your baby, little boy. Spent a lot of time with your little boy. and says that we became buddies. So your boy knows him. So if you were to say this is so-and-so, he would know who that was. He would recognize. He also likes to be like, especially when he is itsy bitsy, making him laugh. He looked in corners. He glanced at the room. You have an animal in the house that used to do the same thing. They'd both glance. They'd both be staring at the wall. He was in that corner playing. He also would turn things on and off. So I see flashing lights. I also see a toy or something that would turn on. You'd be like, why did that turn? What the hell just happened? And that was him. He was doing that. And he says he's always there. He will protect your son for the rest of his journey. I'm sorry I didn't make it longer. I wish I would have been there for you. But I want you to know that I got to be with him first, and I knew him first.
That sounds like him.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. Like, I got it first.
Our son would always look and giggle at things, and I'd say, "Is that Poppy?" He'd be like,
"Oh, I heard Pop, so that makes sense to me, Poppy." Okay, yeah, your dad's not gone. Your dad's all around you. He's in your life. He helps guide you. Loves you. Loves you like a son. Wants you to know that he's proud of you, and the way that you're treating his daughter means everything to him. Keep it calm, he says. You got something to say it calm.
Yeah, okay.
Work on that, he says.
Yeah, stop cursing so much.
Yeah, work on that because it's important for his daughter to hear calm.
No, I know.
He wasn't always calm, but it's important for you to do it because he wasn't always calm.
Yes.
He says, I love you, my girl, my little girl.
So
I love you.
This story for everyone is that he flew into town for Christmas from Australia, and we shared with him the sonogram, the picture, and shared that Sharna was pregnant, and then he passed before
did he die rapidly?
Born. He did.
Yeah.
He died. It was during COVID.
Yeah.
And it was complications from COVID. He was diabetic.
I felt it here. That's why I was doing this.
He had a pacemaker. Like he had a defibrillator. He was, and he swore up and down that the doctors cleared him to fly here.
They didn't.
There's no way.
Didn't. I'm sorry.
There's no way that anybody would clear.
Well, he's telling me they didn't.
Yeah.
But he just so badly wanted to see you. I think he knew it was coming. I do.
That's what I always thought.
And he needed to see you.
Yeah. I knew that. I felt that. Wow. Yeah, I got to tell him that I was pregnant. And then he got sick, and it was basically 2 weeks.
He was a tough cookie.
He survived a lot.
Yes, he was a tough cookie. But I want you to know that he's always around you, always. So let's ask him what he brings. He wakes you up at particular times of the night. He brings you numbers. Numbers are important to him, so I want you to pay attention to that. When you wake up in the middle, so when I teach, and I do teach, in my classes, they can actually feel and see the energy of their loved ones. I have mothers come who sit in the room, and I'll bring that person into them. I know they do it, not me, but I'll bring that person in, and they will actually close their eyes, feel them wrap around them, and smell them. They actually know they're there. So when you're in your room and you get woken up like at 3:33,
you just yesterday, you were like, 11:11, okay, here we go.
Alignment numbers constantly.
That's him waking you up. And I want you to know that he's going to remind you during the day, like maybe you look at your watch or your phone and it's the same time. He's telling you he's there. Pause. Don't turn the lights on and say, come closer, I know you're here. How long has he been gone?
3.5 years.
He's, hold on one second. He loved the outdoors, but he wasn't feeling good.
Mm-mm.
And so he couldn't appreciate the outdoors like he did. Yeah.
Yeah. He always worked outdoors. He was in earth moving and construction. He loved being outdoors. He was a farm kid. Palaces. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he was sick with all sorts of things.
I know.
He didn't take care of his health, and so it constantly evolved into a new
Who had
thing.
diabetes?
He.
Thank you. My legs just started tingling. Okay. Yeah.
Him and his mum.
He's standing right here. So, just so you know, sorry, I digressed off of everything.
It's okay.
It's the way it works. All right, back to.
So,
By the way,
let's just
if you feel your hair being pulled or moved, that would be your dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he likes
sometimes
to poke
I feel
and
that.
feel, poke and feel. That's your dad.
Wow, sometimes I feel that. That's crazy.
Now, I do want to say that your dad's around you, but I know who Aaron Spelling is because my uncle was in the Air Force with him in World War II.
no way.
Mm-hmm. My uncle was a gunnery. So I know a little bit about your dad, so I don't want to read what I know. Okay, and so I'm really careful not to do that. It would ruin, it would make me feel dishonest. And so but I do want you to know that he's around, loves your mom, appreciates, I will say this, he appreciates the messages she gives all the time. So she's giving messages somehow, some way. And just let her know that he's there for her.
That he loves the messages that she gives. Got it. Okay.
She's doing something that's giving him messages and I don't know if it's all the time.
Yeah.
But I definitely know she's doing that.
Yeah.
And he loves them. And he
Okay.
hears them.
I will pass that on.
She really loves him and he feels her love.
Introducing Meta Ray-Ban Display, the world's most advanced AI glasses. With a full color display built into the lens of the glasses, it's there when you need it and gone when you don't. Send and receive messages, translate or caption live conversations, collaborate with Meta AI, and more. Be one of the first to try Meta Ray-Ban Display. Visit meta.com/Meta Ray-Ban Display to book a demo and find your pair.
Optimism isn't sunshine and rainbows. It's fixing things, changing the way we fix things. It's running the world on smarter energy. Because if optimism never stops, then change can't either. GE Vernova, the energy of change.
Wow.
So pass that on to her.
Okay. Any message for me?
From your dad? Let's move through and see if he pops in with something.
Okay.
He's proud of you. That's the one thing I do want to tell you. See, I start to say, let's move through, and then here it comes. He's very proud of you. He wants you to know that. He says you need to know that. You changed your life. I know you mentioned addiction. He had his own demons in his life. I'd prefer not to share them, he says. However, you know what they are. And he says he's very proud of you. Your father's also very empathic, cares very much about people. But he could be very difficult and very judgmental. And he wanted things a particular way. And he says he should never have judged you. He sees your soul. And that he sees you completely different. He was always proud of you, but completely different, with a whole new level of pride. Who wears a pinky ring? Or something about a pinky ring?
Maybe he wore a pinky. No. Who?
Somebody in your life wears a pinky ring that's connected to him.
Brian.
Oh my God. You would have.
I did not even connect that at all. That did not come to mind for me. He says he's an important person in your life and you need to continue to listen up.
He said that specifically.
He came to me in a dream and told me when we started this whole journey, and I was doubting. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And, you know, like our deal with the network at the time was taking longer, and I was just questioning. I'm like, maybe this isn't my path. And he came to me very clearly at like 2 a.m, and he said, I know it's going to get rocky. You need to trust him. And it will go, because even though like we're all 3 together, he was just like, just trust it and just trust that this is right.
Listen up.
So wild. So wild. The pinky ring came and I was like, oh my God. It's me.
He wants you to listen up.
We just said that we just talked about that last week. I'm so sorry. I have to be at the airport in 30 minutes to make my flight. But like, I don't want to leave.
I know.
What an episode.
Yeah, I got completely off of the afterlife.
That's okay though, but that's what you said. If it comes, it comes. Like no pressure, and
it usually doesn't come that much. But there's a lot of people.
There's three of us. Like I assumed. We always.
I had an idea.
We always talk about with what it is we do here too. That there's a lot of energy, a lot of things
absolutely
around it.
Absolutely.
And I think people feel it when they come in and sit down with us because it's a different.
Yeah.
Well, and the goal of mediumship is to, yes, give evidence, but give evidence that you can't know. You can give some that, you could look up or whatever, whoever, there are people that do that all the time. I got to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. I don't look them up, but I know a lot of people do, and we get accused of it all the time. But you want to give evidence you don't know, like their personality, their belief system. You can't know those things.
Well, I heard an interview with you where you said you were with a woman and she went to get up or something and you started singing a song that her child saying that they made up together, that no one.
You want to hear something else mind-blowing about that woman? She came back about 3 weeks ago. This particular woman was so painful because her little girl fell out a window. It's just horrid. Anyway, she came back to me and we did this whole reading, and I could tell she was kind of like, yeah, that could make sense, but she wasn't really, she was there, but, because she trusts me, but it wasn't like the way I like it, which is, powerful, where you go, wow, the way spirit likes it. And out she starts to walk, and I said to her, I got to say something to you on your way out the door. I don't know why. And I know it's not going to make sense because I don't always trust it. And I said, do you understand sunflowers and bumblebees? And she goes, just tears start coming. And she goes, all I asked my daughter this time was to say sunflower and bumblebee.
That's two in a row.
Two in a row with her.
That they had that no one would have known. You can't ever look that up. And then this time, the second thing that she asked, she asked the first time was the song, and the second time.
Yeah. Yesterday, I just got to share this. I had a lady come in. I gave her a reading. It wasn't even for her. The reading was for her friend. And then I was talking to her about somebody else. And then she goes, my husband didn't come in. And I said, I'm so sorry. This reading wasn't for you. I didn't feel him. And then I started saying little things. And she goes, that's accurate. And then they were leaving. And she's walking. I can see her walking out the door. And she goes, well, he could have been there or not there. And I'm hearing her talk to her friend. And all of a sudden he goes, just run after her, please, and say Elvis. Just run after her and say Elvis. So I'm like, oh, God. So I run out the door, and they're almost at the elevator, and I go, do you understand Elvis? She pulls up her long sleeve to her shoulder, the king's hat, and she said, my husband every October for Halloween dressed as Elvis. He thought he was Elvis, and I put Elvis as a tattoo on my body. And I went,
incredible.
Oh, my God. I turned around and walked away, and I called Megan, and I went, oh, my God. Because Megan's my manager, so she's the one I called instantly, right?
Yeah, Megan's here. You can't see her, but she's in studio with us. I'm going to say goodbye, even though I don't want to. You all keep going and finish.
Here's what I say we do. Can you come back at another point?
Absolutely.
Because I would love to. I think for the four of us to get deeper into the conversation, like this was,
and your book,
this was phenomenal.
I want to, the resources that you have.
You guys talk about her book, and Susan is writing a second and a third. So we'll talk about this, and then when that time comes with the second book, we will have you on again, and we will go deeper into some of the realms that we wanted to go in.
I love that.
But I just want to say from my heart, thank you so much for trusting us enough and feeling comfortable to bring through everyone who came through and doing the work that you do. It's powerful. Tanya and Cody suggested you, when I said, I want a really good medium, they said, oh, you have to talk to Susan. And immediately when I looked you up and I heard the things that you were saying, to me, it wasn't even about bringing people through. That was secondary. It was connecting with you, being a healer and doing that work for other people. So
Thank you.
I appreciate you. And
that
I
means
thank you.
so much to me. You have no idea.
You're the real deal. So
thank you.
I appreciate you.
And if you read the book and you love it, anyone out there, please review, because I don't make any money off of it. Hay House does. But the more people that receive it, the more healing there will be. Mm-hmm. So I ask that of all of you. If you
yes,
read
absolutely.
That would mean the world to me.
I'm going to take my book with me. So.
Okay.
You
read
guys
it on the plane.
Love
all
you.
right.
Thank you.
Love you, man.
I do love
Safe
you.
travels.
Have a safe travel back, and I'll speak to you soon, I'm sure.
Give you a hug. Here, we'll move your mic and then.
What I do want to get into, Susan, because I could sit here with you for actual hours and just understand all the bits that make up you and this gift that you have and the way that you're healing with it. It's so beautiful. But I do want to talk about your book. I want everyone to know about your book, and I'd love to know where it came from and really like what's in it. What are people going to get from this book when they read it?
Okay, so it came from Spirit. So what happened to me, I was in my kitchen and I heard, I don't write. I do now, but I didn't. And I heard, you need to write a book. Mm-hmm. And it's time. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm not writing. I'm in my head, right? I'm not writing a book. There's no way. And they said, you are going to, and it's time. And it was so forceful that I called Megan and said, I was doing a documentary at the time, which is called Beyond the Grave. Mm-hmm. And I said to Megan, I have to stop everything. I have to write a book. And she's like, what? And you could hear the panic in her voice. What do you mean you have to stop everything? And I said, I have to write a book. And she goes, why? And I said, because Spirit told me I have to write a book. So she goes, well, we won't stop everything, but you go ahead. It just started happening. It was so fast. 3 weeks after I got done writing it, I got a literary agent. Within less than a month, Hay House calls me and says, we want to buy your book. I was blown away. That doesn't happen to a first-time author. It just doesn't. Well, Hay House saw something in it, obviously. I just saw Spirit. So what the book is about is my total near-death experience, what happened. Mm-hmm. And then it goes into understanding what it's like in the afterlife, what it looks like, what it feels like, where your loved ones are.
Wow.
It talks about how to connect with them. Fear versus intuition, like how do you know the difference? How do you tap into your intuition? The pure love of Spirit, and why you're actually here.
Oh my God. So you just take all of life's big questions and put them into one book?
People that read it, when you look at the reviews, that's why reviews are so important. People that read it tell me it was the most healing book I've ever read on grief, and I've read every book on grief, and not because I'm the top-notch writer, but because Spirit is.
Wow.
And the spirit world just helped me. And I want to go back because I kind of heard a piece of your question.
Okay.
Part of the reason why it's so hard to do this work and it's hard to reveal is because people love to tell you, like you're from the devil, this is the devil fooling you and all this stuff. And living in that was very difficult for me. So it wasn't always easy just to open up and let it flow. But I came to an age, quite honestly, where it didn't matter to me anymore. People can say it, and that's their belief. I honor them. Mm-hmm. I honor them. They have a right to their belief. That doesn't mean I have to believe that. And so it was easier to write my second book because I wasn't afraid anymore. I'm not, when I was writing that fear went away of, oh my God, people are going to hear the truth of my story. And it talks about everything I went through. Well, not everything. My next book talks about even more.
Wow.
But a lot of what my life was like and the pain behind it. But more importantly, it talks about understanding that your true soul path is self-love. It is the hardest thing you will ever do. And your life path is everything you do to get there.
I love that.
Yeah. So, people always, what's my soul path? And I go, learning to love yourself enough to understand what that looks like.
And
always
your
and
life path
forever.
is getting there.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible. And so this is your first book, Infinite Life, Infinite Lessons. And you've mentioned a second and a third just now that you're currently writing.
I'm writing one. Right now I'm calling it Infinite Healing. I don't know if that will be the name of it, but it is Facing the Wounds That Bind You.
Yeah.
So all these wounds of loss and the things that I talk about in this one, I share more about my life journey. And I give people tools like there's tools in this book, literal exercises at the end of every book and integration moments. There is tools in the next book on how to heal those things that keep you bound from your truth, from your true self. And what Spirit wants you to know about that and how important it is to be authentic and know what that even is. I think most everyone tries to be authentic, but do you know what that is for yourself?
Right.
Because we're so bound with the script. I was given a script as a child. That script's supposed to look this way. I live that script. I'm not happy. Why am I not happy? How do I go back and look at what damaged me in that? And it's like the two-sided mirror, right? There's a two-sided mirror. There's our mirror of humanness and our mirror of spiritualness or spirituality. So it's about that. And then the next book, which it's really good. The second book is so good. It's as good as this one, if not a little bit better. And then the next one is called The Spirit Code, Decoding the Language of the Afterlife. So I think I mentioned that a little bit earlier about when a butterfly comes in front of you, yes, you got a message, you got a sign, but what's beyond the sign? And how do you find that for yourself? Because it's personalized for everyone.
Right.
How does the medium find that? So it's really good because it talks about how, finding that like grief amplifies the spirit communication. Silence is one of their greatest amplifiers. People go, I don't hear anything. It's silent. They're not giving me messages. That is the message.
So it's like translating. It's like figuring out the best use of what's coming to you.
What I love in what I'm hearing about all three books that you're describing to me is they are questions that every person has. They're not worded in a way that is super esoterical or you have to be deep in certain types of work to understand it or it's too far beyond. It is literally the simple questions of why are we here? How are we here? What's in the afterlife? Where are my loved ones? Everybody has these thoughts. And it feels like this is incredibly digestible for anybody, whether a child
could read it if they could get past the first chapter.
This is brilliant because I think so many people want this information, right? But some of the books you get into, it gets so word heavy in spaces that maybe you're not used to understanding or hearing, and you put it down because it's too hard.
Right.
And it feels like this is in a way that not only has personal experience, which also helps in listening to stories that people are telling, but then there's beautiful information put in a way that I can only assume, and just listening to you in our session today, that is for everyone to understand and get answers and then build tools. There's a third book that you're talking about.
I call it the toolbox.
Incredible, these tools to be able to then move forward and take these infinite lessons that you're talking about, or the healing book, or understanding messages from beyond. Like, I am floored that these books are now in existence. First of all, this one and the other one's now coming. I think these are the answers that people have been asking for in such a beautiful, I don't want to call it simple, but in a beautiful form that is for everyone to be able to digest.
It is simple. It is. It's not simple read. I mean, it is kind of. My books always start out with an impact. So this book starts out with your baby's in the freezer. These are the words my mother heard.
Oh my gosh.
So it starts out very powerful where it's not just, let me tell you about my life. It actually, you're there and you're experiencing what I experienced and my mother experienced. And then it goes from there. So, and the next book does the same thing in a different way.
Wow. I'm first of all, I'm so excited to read this. I'm so excited for everybody to get their hands on this and read this. And I also want you to share something you mentioned earlier, was you have a platform where people can also go for a monthly subscription to learn from you, because obviously getting a session with you is incredibly hard and expensive. You've now made yourself more accessible for people to be able to learn from you.
Right.
Where is it that they go to do this?
theinfinitesoulsanctuary.com.
Incredible.
And we put it all over social media, Susan Grau Official. I even think I mentioned it in my documentary. I'm pretty sure I did. But anyway, infinitesoulsanctuary.com. And it is a daily, beautiful practice of self-growth. Literally, you go in and you can go to a million different areas, your horoscope, astrological signs. You can go into jokes that make you laugh, the joke for the day. You go into personal healing. I mean, I could go down, there's a list. There's so many categories that we create and they get downloaded either every night or every week. So there's always new things coming in, talking about self-growth, the spiritual connection, everything you can think of. And then once a month, I come on, sometimes twice, I come on and I talk about what it's like to be on the other side, or I teach about how do you connect in without having to pay for a medium, all those things. And I also have guests come on, which is really fun. But I created it to create a space for people to have community. So they all talk together. We have a community section where they can all ask me questions. I answer them. I'm really involved in it as much as I can be. I have a private practice also, so I'm really busy. And I do for children that have passed, parents who have lost their children. I do a lot of free work. Right. I do a lot of events that are for free. I don't charge. And so I'm really busy. But I go in as much as I can, but I always commit to at least one day a month and bringing in someone. I do meditations at the end of everything so everyone learns how to meditate, how to quiet their mind.
Also such a gift.
Oh, it's wonderful. I love it. I love the sanctuary.
Wow. You're so impressive in your gift and what you've done for us here today, but also in the way that you're trying to make it more accessible for people, reach people with your books, reach people with this online subscription that they can have and have access to it to learn these tools themselves. It's really wonderful, the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
The healing work that you're doing. Many people with your gift just let themselves be exclusive and expensive.
Yeah, no. I know that I'm very educated. And that cost a lot of money for me, and I do a lot of charitable work, so I have to charge at least decently.
For sure.
But I don't charge $1,500 for an hour, which is insanity to me. $1,000 to me is insanity. A lot of people do, and I honor that. That's what they feel. For me, I want it to have enough value that I can pay my bills, but I also want people to be able to come.
Of course.
And then I created the sanctuary so that they actually could come in and talk to me. I answer questions. They have Q&As. And also on Instagram, please follow me, Susan Grau Official, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, because every month, and sometimes more, usually more, I go, ask me anything you want to ask me about these subjects, the afterlife and all that. And for free, and I answer them.
Wow.
I go on and record myself answering them so they're actually having a moment with me.
That's amazing.
And then we put them all over social media so that people I want people to learn that they're really there and that they matter. Not every reading is powerful. It's good. I'll be honest with you, there are people that are shut off and they come and they're like this. And usually those are the ones that spirit go after, by the way. But when that doesn't happen, it's painful for me that they leave not being absolute. So this is a way for them to ask more questions without having to, pay money.
It's absolutely beautiful. Susan, thank you so much for coming in to see us today.
Thank you for having me.
I would love to, what Brian said, I would love to have you back.
You name it, I'm here.
Please.
It was just incredible. And to everyone who has tuned in today that has been listening or watching, thank you so much for hanging with us. This episode was deeply moving and incredible for all of us, as I'm sure it was for you.
Unexpected, for sure.
And there is information in here that is for everybody. So I encourage you, please share this episode along so that information can read them. Whether you have lost someone, they have lost someone, or you're just curious about this and maybe want to build some tools to get into it yourself, this is a wonderful place to start. Please start with Infinite Life and Infinite Lessons right here. And you've heard all the information. We will put it in the description so you can go to all the links and all the tags so you can find Susan as well. But thank you again for hanging with us. Susan, thank you for being here with us.
May I share one more thing?
Yes, please.
So I wrote a chapter 14 that has not been published. For anyone who buys the paperback, they can go to susangrauauthor.com and put their receipt number in, and they will receive chapter 14. It is the deepest, most painful chapter I have written.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's about returning back into this body.
Wow.
And what my life was like.
Oh, I cannot wait to read this and chapter 14. And for all of you, I can't wait for you to read it too. So thank you again for hanging with us, and we will see you on the next one.
There are a lot of things that we talked about in this episode today. It's one thing to hear about this, it's another to take action and create the life that you want. If there's something that you want to create in your life, more fulfillment, more happiness, more joy, getting in touch with your intuition and how to make better decisions, then go to my website, randyspelling.com, and find out more there. Thanks.
Okay, real talk. How many pictures are on your camera roll right now? Enough to induce a little stress? Let's take a deep breath. Friend to friend, I want to tell you what finally worked for me. Chatbooks. They make it so easy to actually do something with all those photos. And right now, they're giving us a podcast exclusive, mind-blowing offer. 12 monthly mini photo books for just $12, plus free shipping. That's a full year of printed memories for less than you'd pay for 1 month of streaming. Sleep better at night knowing your memories are safe. Just pick your photos and the Chatbooks app does the rest. Go to chatbooks.com/get12. That's chatbooks.com/get12 and grab the steal before it's gone.